Hi, welcome back to Rediscover Real Estate, and today I'm going to show you how to do a listing on Dotloop. You're going to add the loop, and you're going to put the property. We're going to do it from scratch, so we're going to just use the Google, and then you're going to go listing template. If you have a picture of the property, which if you are about to list it, you should have already have done, but if you're just making information for the seller to, convince them to allow you to list it, then you can of course leave it blank. Of course, if you do not have anything, you just put pre-listed and you don't have to put a price yet, especially if you don't know what the price is, but later on you will add that. So you're going to hit view loop, and you're going to need to add all the documents you need. So you're going to go to templates, and you're going to scroll all the way to the 2020 documents. So you want to do the exclusive right to sell listing. You're going to use that one and copy that on there. You're also going to use seller estimate sheet. This is super important because it gives the client a good estimate of different price points. You also need a working with real estate agents agreement if you already didn't have one signed. So these are the three main forms you will need when you're starting a listing. And you also need to have them to, sign off on all of this. So once you have all the documents there, you're going to do view details. You, of course, will make yourself the listing agent and add as the seller. And you will, of course, put their email if you are going to email this to them. If they have a wife, make sure you also add the wife as the seller. For now, we're just going to use this one, but if there is two people under the deed, they both need to be on there to sign. Of course, if there's no MLS number, you can leave that blank. For a parcel ID, that's where you will refer to Realist. That needs to be filled out. If there isn't agreed upon sales price yet, you do not have to put that. These do not need to be filled out. This won't need to be filled out. For commission, you need to make sure that is also put on there. So the commission sale rate is 3%. 6% usually, and it's 3% each side. But that's if you guys agreed on the same rate. If it's 5%, you can split evenly. Honestly, it's up to you how the seller wants to split it. If they want to do it 50-50, if they want to do it, 3.6 and 2.4, that's how it is in the Raleigh market. It's honestly up to them. If it's 5%, I know I had a seller who was like, I want you to have 3% and the other person have 2%. It's, to be honest, up to the seller how they kind of want to do the split as well. And this is all the listing information. So the expiration date, the listing date, the original price, the current price, if there's a mortgage balance, you want to put all this information in. If there's any liens, any home association dues, all of that needs to be put in there so that it can autofill. And also the geographical description, all of that needs to be in there so it can autofill, and any other information as well. So all of this needs to be filled out so that it can autofill in there. The more information you have, the better it is and easier it is for you. So like with the buyer side, if you refer to that, you would just autofill and everything should be autofilled for you. You of course need to put the date on here and just hit save. For the seller estimate sheet, again, this is where it's really, helpful, because then it would, you kind of would input some of the numbers for you. But this is where you do the different sales, like at different price points, and put that there. So an example, if this is 170, you will calculate that in 165 and 160. I like to do highest, lowest, middle and lowest, so they can kind of see it. If they have mortgages, you put that there. If there's HOA assessments, you put there. Any type of liens, that needs to be put there. Brokerage fees, 6%. Attorney preparation is usually about $350. I like to put plus or minus, because if they don't pick the attorney that we recommend and they choose a different attorney, the pricing can be different. So I like to put plus or minus, let them know it can be more or less. And 6%, or if there's a flat fee, you would put the 6% price of whatever the sales price is. Closing expenses for a buyer. If they are willing to pay any closing expenses, I always suggest it's to put that in there just so they know in case. Usually that's 3 or 2% of the purchase price, so then you put that in there. Usually you don't put anything for express fees at the time. Home warranties can be from 500 to 600, so I usually do how much they say they want to do. So if they say 500, then I will put 500. And this would go down the row as well. Basically, any other miscellaneous fees, that could be from, I guess it depends on where you are. If you want to charge them for any of those fees, we typically don't charge them for like pictures or anything, because that just is part of our job to do that. But if you do, you put that there. Any prorate, you will prorate the HOA dues if there's any. The recording fee, you would put that there. I think it's about 100. Repairs from home inspection, that could be more or less $2,000 or $3,000. And then revenue stamp, of course, you just divide this price by 500 and round up to get that price. Survey or any other VA fees, that's up to them. We don't do the appraisal, home inspection, pest inspection before, because this buyer typically does that later, and it will usually calculate everything for you right here. So if you have all the numbers plugged in, it should calculate what it is, and then you just sign off on it and they sign off on it. Make sure you have this exclusive rights to sell listing agreement. If not, this will become a huge pain. This is like the very first thing before you list any home. This should be done. Make sure you read this. The effective date is, if they're listed with somebody else, you put that. If they're not, you put another date. But we're gonna put here, we typically do 6 months. So I'm gonna put 18th. And all this information is filled out. So if all the information was filled out, it'd be right here too. So I'm going to sign that. Once it's signed, like I said, every single one of this information needs to be filled out, so it could help. You need to ask if there's any leased or not owned items, so you could put that other here. On other items that they do not want to convey, they need to put that here. If they're allowing to sell personal property, such as the refrigerator or if the shed, they need to put that. You need to specify that in here. This is where if they agree to do a home warranty, if they do or do not, you need to put that here. What listing price did they agree to do? So if they wanted to do the 170, use 170. If they want to do the 165, this is what you would do. You would Also put your commission fee right here. And we usually do 180 days. And what we usually pick is to cooperate with other buyers agents and give them a 3% of the gross property, of the gross sales price, or whatever flat fee they choose. This has to do with marketing. You should definitely, if they don't want to, if they don't do marketing later, this is, I guess, what you would use. But if not, then you can just look over that. Um, Let them make sure the seller is okay with doing all that's on here. Some people might not be okay with open houses, so just make sure you discuss all of these options, these marketing options, and making sure that the seller is okay with using all these options, or what to take out or what to put in. And you also have to get permission from them to have a lockbox or key box in there, so make sure that that also is checked. If they know the property is in the flood zone, that needs to be material facts. If there's a homeowner association, it's a material fact, they need to put that on there. If there's all of this material facts needs to be put on there. If there's any liens, they should let you know about that. If it's currently under bankruptcy, I highly suggest they do that as well. If it's under a lease, we need to know that that's a material fact. If there's a fuel tank, that's also a material fact that we need to know. And this basically lays out all our duties. If they agree to do a home inspection, of course they do not have to. So make sure everything that needs to be filled is filled out, and have them sign this. And of course you will sign it as well. And make sure the firm license number is on there. Hit save. And then you will give this all to them and they will sign off on all of it. Make sure you go over the professional service disclosure and the home inspection with them as well, just so that they know. But that's pretty much how you do the listing side of when it comes to dotloop. So if it ends up becoming active, you hit active and go through every single one of this. If you have an offer, you can send it directly to dotloop by either uploading it, or you can actually email it to you can also email it to dotloop and have it uploaded to dotloop. You can also do that through your phone as well. Whatever is easier for you to upload documents, that's what you'll basically do.